guys. Today we just want to share some encouragement in your marriage or in your walk with Christ.
We know marriage is not easy, and all of us have our struggles, and there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. I think sometimes we see other marriages and we think that, wow, they're so happy, they got everything going on right, and what are we doing over here? But you know what? That's not true. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage because there's no such thing as perfect people.
Right. A lot of times we have our past hurts that we bring into our marriage. We have our own insecurities, our own fears, our own doubts, our own worries. I mean, even daily consistencies of life that piles on top of that.
Yeah, and so it's so difficult because it's easy for us to take our own frustrations out on our spouse, and that's just going to cause more and more problems in a marriage. And so my advice is, if you want to have an encouraging marriage that's growing and getting stronger, focus on yourself in the sense of how can I serve, how can I love, how can I cherish, how can I nourish my spouse? What can I do to make their day better today?
And a lot of times we cannot get there unless we're actually spending time with God ourselves. So what is going on inside of you will normally pour out. And if you feel too overwhelmed to even do what he just said, then it's probably because you need to spend time with God.
Yeah, God calls us to have this abiding relationship with Him because that's where our power comes from, is our relationship with God. And so when that's lacking, it's going to show itself up in our marriage.
Which can make everything else really difficult.
Yeah, to say the least. And so what you need to do is make sure that you have a healthy, thriving, growing, intimate relationship with the Lord. And when you have that, I'm telling you, it's going to be so much easier to minister to your spouse and to be a blessing to them instead of a hindrance.
Yeah, because a lot of times we can think that we know what they need, and essentially we probably don't. And God can actually give you intimate details of what your spouse may need when you spend time with Him.
Absolutely. And I also think that when we're plugged into Jesus, He gives us that desire to want to serve our spouse. Because you know what? Let's be real. We're like, you know what? I'm just tired. I'm tired. I keep trying to do A, B, and C, and then you want D, E, and F. And then when I give you D, E, and F, you want A, B, and C. So no matter what I do, I can't win, so why keep trying? And so, but when you're plugged into Jesus, I'm telling you, He gives a sweetness in your spirit to where you have this supernatural desire to just want to please your wife. Because when you please your wife, you're pleasing the Lord. The Bible says do all things as if we're doing unto the Lord. And so the first and most greatest thing that any husband can do is serve, love, honor, and cherish their wife.
And wives, the same deal. Obviously, when I'm doing things in the home, I'm not doing it because I need things to be clean. I'm doing it because I'm doing it unto the Lord as well.
Yeah, and so I just think when you got the husband over here saying, what can I do to love my wife and cherish her? And then you got the wife over here saying, what can I do to respect and honor my husband and his leadership? While you got two people who are putting the other spouse before themselves, it just creates a beautiful environment in a home to where I believe that you're going to have success in mostly every situation in your life. And then when you don't, when there's some small bumps in the road, because each spouse is looking out for the betterment of the other, wow, you're able to come to the table, have a discussion, pray, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't know this is what you wanted to do. Whatever it is, I think you'll be able to get across what you want to do, and you'll just end up having a healthy relationship. Right? And so I just want to challenge all the husbands out there. What you do and what you don't do, they both matter. So when you choose as an act of your will every day that, you know what, I'm going to romance my wife, I'm going to love her, I'm going to honor her, I'm going to do those honey-do lists that she wants me to do, and I'm going to make it a priority. They see our attitudes. They see when they ask us to do something, do we jump right to it, or we go, here we go again. All of those things matter. You actually set the environment in your home by the way you choose to respond to your wife's needs and desires.
And when you catch yourself, make sure you apologize.
Yes.
Because it just shows that you're humbling yourself, you're admitting your wrongs, and it makes us be vulnerable with the other person when that happens.
Yeah, I just thought of something. So in marriage, you need to be a great apologetic. Not as far as apologetics, but apologizing. I think when we apologize, because I think you told me that one time, she says, I love it that when we get into something, you're always the first one to apologize. And women are made to respond to the husband's leadership. And so when I create an environment where I'm showing that, hey, I'm not too prideful to where I can't humble myself and apologize, now my wife can learn from that and she too can apologize.
Right, because essentially we need to be people who teach one another how to teach or how to respect or how to honor or how to love each other.
Absolutely.
We're not going to know how to do this if we're not demonstrating it to the other person.
Yep. So being married is a great place to be. It's a beautiful, wonderful relationship that God has created, and there's so many blessings with being married. So regardless of where you're at, if you're really struggling, if you're in a good place, or just don't know where you're at, I'm telling you, seek God, put all your whole heart into Him, and I promise He's going to bless your marriage.